It's your boy, Heaven Hollywood. This is the IE Network, and this is Take It or Leave It. Now, today we're going to be discussing Tory Lanez in the motion for his new trial request. We are in the middle of that now. Court resumes on Monday. As you all know, Tory Lanez, back in December, was convicted on all counts, for disarming a firearm with negligence, for carrying an unregistered firearm. And a lot of people like to say, "Oh, he wasn't convicted for shooting Megan Thee Stallion. He was convicted of shooting a gun, and it hit Megan Thee Stallion. So he's convicted of shooting Megan Thee Stallion. But you can say it whatever way you want to say it. So he was supposed to be sentenced back in January, but he got new lawyers, and now they're filing a motion for a new trial. They're saying that some of the evidence that was allowed should not have been allowed. They're saying that, certain pieces of evidence were not evidence. They were it shouldn't have been allowed. The Instagram comment that they were saying wasn't Tory Lanez, it was someone else who's running his account. They were saying that the 80-minute interview given to Kelsey Harris in September of 2022 should not have been admissible because she went on the stand and said she didn't remember a lot of those things that she said. Also took the fifth and said that she was pressured into making that statement. So, but that was actually why it was admissible. It was admitted because at first they wasn't going to admit it in, but because they was told and it was made assumed that the prosecution pressured her, the judge allowed that 80-minute interview to hear if there was any sorts of pressure going on, and it was not. So the defense kind of brought that on themselves. But that's neither here nor there. We all know what happened. So this motion for a new trial, at first, even up until this week, I was saying to myself, there is no way in hell Tory Lanez is getting a new trial. The percentages in California for a PC, I think it's 1181. I think that's what the penal code is. Okay, that's on motion for a new trial. The percentages of just winning an appeal in California is 20%. So 20% of people who were convicted overturn it in an appeal. Only 20% in the state of California. It's even less than that for getting granted a new trial. So I was saying with the percentages of granted a new trial, it's somewhere under 10%. And you have to come with overwhelming, most of the time you have to come with new evidence. It's hardly ever done with the evidence that was presented if you don't present new evidence to the judge. So I said, there's no way. But after talking to a few lawyers and a few residents of Los Angeles, they convinced me. I believe Tory Lanez is going to get a new trial, and here's why. The state of California, and before all the Megan Thee Stallion fans come at me, this is just my opinion, just my take. I think he's going to get a new trial, but I don't think it's going to be for the reasons that people think. So, Tory Lanez's lawyers presented that the evidence of his tattoo, the Instagram post, the allowing Kelsey Harris 80-minute interview, the social media influence. They cited these things in an 80-page document of why they felt as though he should get a new trial. The prosecution, of course, came back and debunked, in their opinion, all of those reasons and said that, the evidence is overwhelming, according to them. And the more I spoke to these people, attorneys, people who's worked legal in LA, friends of mine, they said they keep stalling for a reason. Okay? The judge, who she's the person that I spoke to knew Judge Hereford. She said Judge Hereford is a very aggy judge. He normally doesn't allow all of these continuances. He'll normally give you one continuance and then that's it. All right? He was definitely aggravated with this case. But she said, I want to mind you about Robert Blake. Now, Robert Blake was an actor. He passed away now. He passed away at the age of 89. But I believe his case was, when was it, back in the 90s? It was back in the 90s, where he was accused of killing his wife. He went through this long murder trial, and he was acquitted, to a lot of people's surprise, was acquitted of murder. Now, this is what a lot of people told me. Jose Baez, who is famous for getting off Casey Anthony and getting off Aaron Hernandez for double murder. He is like a new age Davis McClain. If you follow Power, if you know Davis McClain, he's played by Method Man. And he is a guy who will do anything for a buck. Long as you pay him, he will do anything, whether it's ethical, unethical, but for the money, he'll do anything. The rumors around the Robert Blake case was the LAPD, who are one of the most known corrupt systems, court systems, and police departments in the world. There have been rumors about them in the past being in cahoots with the defense attorneys, the judge, and the prosecution, once they've already decided that this person's fake. And what I believe is happening is Jose Baez, who is, what's his charge, $60,000 a day or something like that? I believe they are going to grant Tory Lanez this new trial in an attempt to totally bankrupt Tory Lanez. Now listen to why I say that. They're saying that Tory Lanez is going to spend north of $5 million when it's all said and done on attorney fees. His new net worth that was up on websites, what they say is worth, like in April, they say it's worth like $5 million now because of all the attorney fees and everything. Now, net worth, I have a friend that's in movies. Recently, they put his net worth on the internet. And when I told him about it, he said, I wish. I said, what are you talking about? I said, that's too much? He said, man, I ain't got that much money. You even recently heard Lil Wayne come out and say something like that. I'm not even close to 150 million. Now, I know my friend wouldn't lie to me. He was like, I don't have that much money. So your net worth is probably, you probably don't have that much money in your bank account or what have you. You know, they say if you liquidate yourself, you'll have this amount of money. So if they're saying he's worth, let's say he's worth $10 million, $10 million. He's going to spend that amount in lawyer fees. And if they give him a new trial, knowing that they're going to once again convict him, that's more money that he has to pay to the lawyers. And at the end of the day, they split the pot. Now, this is what was told to me that the LAPD has been rumored of doing in the past. They were going to charge Robert Blake. I mean, they were going to, Robert Blake was already going to be innocent. And the lawyers and the defense lawyers, allegedly, the defense lawyers purposely left out key information in order for, Robert Blake's lawyers, once he paid at the time, I believe it was Robert Kardashian. And there was always whispers that they were in cahoots to get Robert Blake off. The wife, he was acquitted of killing his wife. But I heard the wife's family was absolutely livid. Now, Tory Lanez, if he's granted another case, what does that mean? Well, that means he has to pay his lawyers more money to do this trial all over again. But I believe, this is only my personal belief, and I base this on my conversations, I believe this time he will get convicted again, but they're going to take the negligence charge away. And he's only going to get convicted of the other felonies, the other two felonies. And he will get less amount of time. I predict he'll get between 5 and 10 years in LA, in California, and then he will have to be deported back to Canada. But by that time, he's going to have no money. He's going to pretty much be bankrupt. Even right now, I'm hearing that he has to pretty much ransom off his streams. He has no contract. Remember that. He has no record contract. So the only thing he could put up is, and they say that he's renting, his home is a rental, is a lease. So whatever stuff he can put up, whether it's jewelry, whether it's a car if it's paid for, a condo if that's paid for, and then your streams. You can say, hey, I do this amount of streams, so over a course of a year, I'm going to make this amount, because he's not doing any shows. So you can actually put your streams up as collateral to continue paying your attorneys. I believe Tory Lanez will be granted a new trial, and I think they're going to do the trial all over again, and they're going to convict him again. But because Megan and Kelsey will not, well, I know Megan, Kelsey might have to, but because Megan does not have to testify again, and I heard Kelsey wasn't even going to do it again, but Megan doesn't have to testify if she doesn't want. They'll take away the negligence because they're not going to be able to prove who shot her. It's going to be established that she got shot. It's not going to be able to establish who shot her. So they're going to take away the negligence, but he's still going to get hit with the other two charges. and he will get less time. That's my prediction. The LAPD is in the LA court systems is that even though Baez is in Florida, the judge allowed him to sit in. And a lot of people are questioning, why is he allowed in the court, to be sitting on this in the courtroom? Judge still allowed him. And the other guy is his other lawyer, Matthew. He's another guy who's, flashy, into the money. That's just my take on it. I think they're in cahoots to bankrupt Tory Lanez. And I think he's going to get a new trial, and I think he's going to get convicted again. Let me know what you think down in the comments.